So here we are at Port Kensington Farm in the Martha Collins house, which is now connected to the sewer. Yay! For running water! And this is
So you own this land, or
yeah, we just got this. We had been gardening on an empty lot across the street from where we currently live, and for 4 years we grew a lot of produce for the City Harvest program. And then they built on the land because we made it such a desirable spot. The empty lot was beautiful with all the food we were growing. And for the last 2 years we've been really sad and really missed it. So we found a piece of land that we could continue to grow food on. We donate most of the food, and we just have to fix this place up to live here. So it's a little bit of going back and forth.
This is amazing. It's
quite right outside our doorstep yet.
Wonderful. So can you tell us about what this is, Deb?
So this is landscape cloth that's just keeping down all of the weeds, and we did get the soil tested, and it's really good. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't have any heavy metals. We just want to make sure, like for the first year that we're actually growing food to donate, that it's just going to be in the really good fertile soil that's in the raised beds. So we put the landscape cloth down. It will keep the weeds from coming up, but it'll also, protect the produce, a little bit more. And eventually, this soil will then be enriched by the soil, the compost, and the good soil that we're adding to it. Because soil is like #1 key, along with like good sun exposure. We have a really great directional light here that is just awesome for growing. And then of course water.
Great. So I'm just going to kind of watch you go right now.
So we did have to cut down a tree that was, like rotting and blocking the light. What I'm planning to do is in the spring, I want to move these around the spots where we cut them down and grow, see if I can grow raspberries in them. I'm going to put soil in them and see if it's deep enough for the roots for some raspberries.
Wow, this is beautiful.
And we planted an Asian pear tree here. And there's another one over there, so they'll pollinate each other. And this will be our asparagus bed. We'll put in asparagus in the spring. That's our good luck asparagus because you can't harvest it until like the 3rd year. So, by the time we're harvesting it, we'll be living here. We'll finish the house. So we just have a lot of work to do on the house. We got connected to the sewer, so we'll have running water. We're going to put in solar panels. We're going to put in radiant heat. My husband is just amazing at figuring out how to do stuff as he goes along, although he's a very skilled artist and also a very skilled painter, house painter. But he just built an elevator shaft. We're going to put an elevator in because we're going to be growing old here. So, it's practical.
That's amazing. Can you tell me about what this is, Deb? What did you use to kind of build this up?
We're working with the City Harvest program, and that's a collaboration between PHS, the SHARE program, so the community gardens, the food cupboards, and also the reentry program at the prison. So it's a training program to grow the seedlings there, to distribute them to the community gardens, and then grow the food to donate to the local food cupboards in the area. So I'm connecting to a food cupboard here in this neighborhood. I'm also connected to one in my current neighborhood further south. And City Harvest through PHS, because we donate all of this food, like they provide a lot of the supplies. So these are, actually this year they had some, wood available, but also like pre-built certain size beds, 4 by 10. So we have 21 4 by 10 pre-built beds that we then laid down and filled with really good soil and compost. And this one we just built ourselves. It's a custom one out of the same wood that we'll be growing the asparagus in.
Oh, that's amazing. So can you just tell me about some of what the different vegetables are out here?
Well, so these are the fall crops that we have, mostly a lot of brassicas, a lot of greens. We have some lettuce coming back now that the groundhog isn't eating it all. A couple of weeds I need to pull out of there. And we did catch a groundhog who ate this whole broccoli bed. Damn him! But we caught him with a peanut butter sandwich and released him over by the river. So this is what one groundhog ate this whole broccoli bed, but then we do.
Hey, what up, Red Dad? We have someone talking to us who knows Port Richmond. He said, "What up, Port Richmond?"
Hey! So we do have some good broccoli coming in over here, and I'm going to harvest some of this today. And we're going to donate a lot of collards and kale and mustard greens and spinach. And the Brussels sprouts are not quite ready yet. It's been kind of slow this season because, this is a nice chilly fall day, but it's been warm and it's going to get warm again this week. And these are cool weather crops. These are crops we'll plant again in the spring, and then a variety of other crops too as the weather gets warmer.
So primarily, this is all like what, collard greens?
So this is the broccoli. So the broccoli's coming in.
Let's see, can you show me? Oh, look at that.
Yeah, right?
Real broccoli. Someone wants to know, where do you donate?
So we're going to be donating to Congresso on a regular basis. They have a senior program, they have a health center, they have a school. So it'll be nice to reach all generations in the community.
Great. So Deb, just before I just shoot you working, can you just tell us why having an urban farm is important? Like, why?
Well, one thing, we're also keeping bees. And I think that there's been a real growth in urban beekeepers because we need bees. The world needs bees to live, to have food to grow. And I think in urban areas, there's actually like a lot of pollen, the weeds that grow and the trees, especially in Philadelphia. There's a lot of really good trees and a lot of community gardens. There's a lot of available good pollen for, and Philadelphia is a real organic growing kind of town too, which is, what it's all about. Because I think that's part of what's killing the bees is all the pesticides and all of the big agribusiness and monocrop culture. So they'll ship bees back and forth to different places to pollinate like whole almond orchards, and then so there's not, in urban areas they don't have that, so they have more of a variety of different kinds of crops. They're not being shipped back and forth. It's I think a good way to help boost the bee population for urban beekeepers to be trying to help save bees. So
what about like
they'll pollinate
financially? Like, do you think for families who maybe are lower income that starting their own farm could be beneficial? And like, how would someone who was low income maybe go about doing something like this? Like Red Dad just asked why could something like this happen in, I think, North Philly?
Well, that's where we are. We're in Kensington.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we grow food. A lot of people grow food for City Harvest. Like, they'll just give away their extra stuff because anybody who participates in a community garden, like I have been, always knows there's more zucchini than you could ever eat yourself, and so they'll just, share it, But we grow specifically for sharing the food, and then the leftovers, there's plenty left over for us. So we're not low income. Well, we have a one income partnership. My husband's doing a lot of work on the place and he's an artist, so we're not, I would say we were, working class, and we can afford to do this because we're participating in the City Harvest program. And I partner with a friend on keeping the bees, so we share the initial cost of that, and then there's really not that much cost in it going forward. And then some people are able to actually sell the honey, but we're not really into it to make money off of it. I think that, you can grow food in pots, in a windowsill. We're growing food on our rooftop. I mean, it's relatively low cost to grow food. I think that the quality of the soil is really important. So understanding that composting can be a really good source of really good soil, and also it just saves the amount of trash that you throw out. And then it also saves on the amount of trash that goes to the landfill. And it was just amazing this year. Like, so I'm composting all year, you know, only throwing out like a little bag of trash, but then having, you know, all this vegetable waste that is then turning into this beautiful soil that then I could add back in at the community garden. Because, you know, as these plants grow, they pull out the nutrients from the soil to grow, and then it's just good to be able to replenish, you know, that nutrient weeds.
Yeah, I'm just, this is a live documentary, so
Yeah,
we want
I
to
know.
make it cinematic and interesting in addition to giving cool information.
Okay,
As
okay.
cinematic
Talk,
as
talk,
we can
talk,
for
talk, talk.
Periscope. All right, so that's good. I'm just going to
Yeah.
watch you for a little while doing what you do, and then
Here, I'll
we'll...
show you a really cool vegetable. There's one left that I'm going to pick, and I'll send home with you if you want to try it. This is a kohlrabi. It's just a little one because I already harvested most of the kohlrabis, but it tastes like broccoli, but you know, it looks kind of like a
Yay,
weird
Dina.
turnip.
Wow.
So you can eat it raw. You know, you can just peel this off. You can saute the leaves too, but if you can I'll just break off the root.
Oh.
So the inside of this is really crunchy and delicious. It's good in a lot of different ways, but you can just eat it as a snack when you get home, Jazz.
Oh, thank you so much.
Here, I'll just throw
Oh, okay. Thank
stuff
you.
in. So I'm just growing some chard here. Do you want some kale?
Yeah, I'd love some kale.
All right, I'll give you. Do you like collards?
Yeah, I love collards.
Oh, good. Well, I have a lot more collards than kale. I was just because I just donated a lot of the kale, and it's just growing back now. But it'll keep growing for the next couple months, I think.
Okay, that's
So
fantastic.
we're gonna just keep this thing going through the seasons. We just try to keep the food growing. You know, we're in a good climate for growing food.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'll just watch you for a little while.
All right, I'm gonna pick you a variety of kale. This is just the curly kale. This is the dinosaur kale.
Wow, it's
It has
just that
different
easy.
flavors. Yeah, it'll keep growing from the center. See how it's still growing up from the center, and I'm just taking it off from the bigger leaves from the bottom. The new tender greens in the spring, you know, like these get kind of, you know, you have to, if you're making a kale salad, you have to massage these a little bit more. You know, you have to cook them a little bit longer. The fall crops, as they keep growing like this, you know, they're not as tender, but they are so flavorful. And each one of these kinds of kale has a different flavor. So you'll see. This is the red Russian kale. And then these are the collards. We also have cabbages coming in.
Oh, wow.
And some mustard greens over here. Just giving you a nice mix of greens.
Can they be cooked together?
Sure. And this is a kind of Asian green tatsoi, which you can also eat raw, which is kind of like spinach. There's spinach too.
Oh, there's spinach. Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I get
forgot to bring
excited
a
about
bag,
that too.
though.
Oh, spinach! I'm excited about it too.
I forgot to bring a bag. Would
That's
you
all right. I
another
have
one?
some.
Okay.
Yes, I brought some bags. This is a little spicy, the mustard greens.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some of this tatsoi.
Now, how do you
too.
choose what to harvest here?
Well, I'm just taking, usually what I'll harvest is the biggest leaves, and I'll keep a leaf like this, I'll keep for myself. Like that, I won't donate. But, you know, a nice leaf like that I'll donate. But this is fine for me to cook. You know, it's just, I don't care if it looks like that, you know.
And what kind of plant is this?
So this is tatsoi. So you can harvest this whole thing. It's actually time to do that, but I was just pulling, you know, you can pull that up and then pull the root off. But I'm just taking off some of the outer bigger leaves for you to try. And then I'll harvest the whole thing afterwards. But I try to keep it as clean as possible, so I'm pulling it off. You know, some people, if you pull it up, you know, then the dirt gets shook all over everything from the roots, and then you have to wash it more. And I try to prevent it from getting dirt on it, so it'll keep longer. Like once you rinse this, that's when it's time to cook it. Like this will keep in your fridge for a couple weeks now, but once you rinse it, it won't keep for very long.
Oh, okay.
So
So as we prepare to end this live documentary, if you could just maybe talk about how others could get involved in urban farming, like
beat for you.
oh, how can others, maybe there are people from around the world possibly watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of advice would you give to them for getting
Well,
involved?
I got involved in my local community garden, and that's how I learned everything. So, I know Philadelphia has a lot of community gardens. Like whatever neighborhood you're in, you can find a community garden to get involved in. And even if you can't get your own plot, people always need volunteers. And that's how I got my own plot, was by starting to like volunteer there first. And, once people see that you're involved, it's just, you can... That's how I got my job too. I started volunteering at the place first, and then, made myself, like then they couldn't get rid of me, right? So, but you can start growing in a pot on your windowsill, But organic is the way to go. You do not need pesticides. You do not need harmful chemicals. I mean, that goes into the water. It affects us all worldwide. It's not just like, oh, my river isn't your river, So, yeah, we do like integrated pest management. We have this insect cloth that we cover it over with, but there's also just some really natural things that help repel insects. Just by growing a lot of flowers, like I have a lot of flowers growing along the edges, the fruit trees, the berries that we're going to grow attract beneficial insects that will eat the bad bugs. Mm-hmm. But then also some people will rotate their crops, like the bugs that like to eat this crop. If I move this type of crop to another place, the bug is not smart enough necessarily to go and find it there. They'll come back to the same place. Or they may be in that soil, like they may have laid some eggs in that soil, but if I plant something else in there that those bugs don't eat, then that's another like way of doing some pest management. So
this is fantastic. Can you hold this for me? I just want to say goodbye to whoever might be a part of my possible audience. Hey everyone, so you all know me, I'm Duncan. I have been pushing using Periscope to create, with the greens here. So I hope that you all will follow me if you're interested in more work like this. I intend to continue doing documentaries on Periscope and maybe even some fiction films. I'm JazDuncan.com. You can follow me on all social media at Jaz_works or JazWorks. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for visiting Port Kensington. Eat your greens.